The rain came down like it had something to prove, slamming against the cracked windshield of an old pickup that had already seen too many hard years, and in that storm a tired single father made a decision that would change his life forever. Marcus Hale had nothing left to give that night except a little kindness, yet he gave it anyway, not knowing that the woman standing helpless on the side of a dark Ohio road would soon hold his future in her hands. If you believe that kindness still matters in this world, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that remind us humanity still exists. Marcus had learned long ago how to survive on very little. After his wife passed away from illness 3 years earlier, life became a constant balancing act of bills, exhaustion, and raising his young son Noah alone. He worked long shifts at a warehouse outside Dayton, barely earning enough to cover rent, groceries, and the growing stack of medical bills left behind. Every morning he woke before dawn, made breakfast for Noah, walked him to the neighbor who watched him after school, and drove to work with a heart heavy from responsibility. His truck rattled and groaned like it was holding together on willpower alone, much like Marcus himself. That night, after an exhausting shift and a call from the school about an overdue payment, he drove home through a storm that blurred the road into streaks of gray. That was when he saw her. A woman standing beside a dark sedan pulled onto the shoulder, hazard lights blinking weakly through the rain. She looked lost, soaked, and frightened, holding her coat tightly as passing cars rushed by without slowing. Marcus hesitated. He was already late, already tired, already worried about how he would afford Noah's school trip next month. But he remembered what it felt like to be abandoned by the world. He pulled over anyway. He offered help without hesitation, checking the car and realizing the battery was dead. With shaking hands numbed by rain and cold, he hooked up jumper cables from his truck, ignoring the way his back ached and water soaked into his boots. The woman thanked him repeatedly, her voice unsteady, but Marcus brushed it off as nothing. When the car finally started, he followed her to a nearby gas station to make sure she was safe. She offered money, but he refused, telling her he just hoped someone would do the same for his son someday. Then he drove off into the storm, unaware that the woman watching him leave was Judge Abigail Turner, newly assigned to a case that would soon determine whether Marcus would lose everything. Weeks later, Marcus sat in a courtroom with his hands clenched together, heart pounding so loudly he could barely hear his thoughts. A paperwork error tied to unpaid fees and an expired vehicle registration had escalated into a legal nightmare that threatened his job and even custody complications if he missed more work. He stood alone, exhausted, terrified, and ashamed. When the judge entered, he kept his head down, expecting another cold ruling from someone who would never understand what it meant to struggle. Then he looked up. The woman behind the bench was the same one he had helped on the roadside. She recognized him instantly, though her expression remained composed and professional. The courtroom was silent as she reviewed his case, the weight of the law balanced against the quiet memory of a man standing in the rain offering help without expecting anything in return. Marcus did not plead. He did not make excuses. He simply explained his situation with honesty, his voice heavy with the burden of being both mother and father to a little boy who depended on him completely. The room felt frozen as the judge considered everything. She saw not a careless man, but a tired father trying to survive. She saw the kindness he had shown when no one was watching. And in that moment, she made a decision that changed the course of his life. Instead of punishment, she arranged a structured payment plan, waived excessive penalties, and connected him with a local assistance program that helped working parents stay afloat. It was firm but fair, compassionate without bending the law. Marcus left the courthouse stunned, his legs weak, tears burning his eyes as he sat in his truck and breathed for the first time in months. That night, he held Noah a little tighter, realizing that one small act of kindness had echoed back into his life in a way he never could have imagined. He never told his son the full story, only that helping others mattered, even when life felt unfair. Before the ending, take a moment to comment below and tell us what this story made you feel or what kindness means to you in your own life. Years later, Marcus would look back on that rainy night as the moment everything changed. Not because of luck or coincidence, but because he chose compassion when it was hardest to give. And Judge Abigail Turner would quietly remember the man who reminded her why justice must always walk hand in hand with humanity. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more stories that remind us kindness always finds its way back.